Zuckerberg's Hawaii bunker sits beneath 1,400 acres of paradise, and what's hidden underground makes every doomsday prepper on the planet look like an amateur. We're talking 8-ton blast doors, secret tunnels connecting 2 mansions, a 5,000 square foot shelter designed to survive scenarios most of us don't even want to think about. And when reporters finally exposed the blueprints, Zuckerberg's response was, "It's just a basement." Right, a $270 million basement. Zuckerberg's Hawaii bunker isn't some conspiracy theory cooked up on Reddit. This is documented, investigated by Wired, confirmed by Business Insider, reported by Fortune, and it raises a question that should genuinely unsettle you. What does the man who knows more about 3 billion people's lives than anyone on Earth think is coming? Because here's the pattern. It's not just Zuck. Peter Thiel bought a bolt hole in New Zealand. Larry Ellison owns an entire Hawaiian island. Reid Hoffman once told a reporter that more than 50% of Silicon Valley billionaires have some form of doomsday insurance. So when the guy running Meta, the company that literally tracks your location, your relationships, your daily habits, when that guy starts pouring hundreds of millions into a billionaire fortress with blast-resistant walls and escape hatches on a remote Hawaiian island, maybe the rest of us should be paying attention. Today, I'm breaking down every detail of this compound. The secret tunnels, the bunker specs, the security so tight that construction workers signed NDAs just to swing a hammer. And I'm going to explain why Kauai specifically might be the smartest doomsday location on the planet. Let's start with how this whole thing came together, because the land grab alone is a story. Starting around 2014, Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan began quietly purchasing parcels on Kauai's North Shore. Not one lot, not two, parcel after parcel after parcel, until they had assembled roughly 1,400 acres of prime Hawaiian land under a property known as Koolau Ranch. Now, if you pull up satellite imagery, what you see looks almost like a private country. The parcels cluster together across rolling green terrain, bordered by coastline on one side and dense tropical vegetation on the other. There are working agricultural sections, cattle, crops, which technically make this a ranch. But that framing is doing a lot of heavy lifting, because what sits at the center of this property is anything but agricultural. 2 central mansions anchor the compound. We're talking substantial residential structures, not modest Hawaiian homes. But the mansions themselves aren't even the headline. What connects them is. Underground tunnels link the 2 main residences to a standalone shelter, a 5,000 square foot bunker buried beneath the Hawaiian soil. The entire layout is designed so that you could move between buildings without ever stepping outside, without ever being seen. The estimated total investment, land acquisition plus construction, comes to roughly $270 million. To put that in perspective, that's more than the GDP of some small nations, spent on a single private compound. And the real question isn't how much Zuckerberg spent, it's what exactly he built down there. Now, the real secret sits underground, and the specifications for Zuckerberg's Hawaii bunker read less like a residential basement and more like a military installation. The shelter itself spans 5,000 square feet. That's larger than most American homes, and this is just the underground portion. The walls are constructed from blast-resistant reinforced concrete, reported to be extraordinarily thick. We're talking hardened construction, designed to withstand forces that no residential building code would ever require. The entrance features doors weighing approximately 8 tons each. Let me help you picture that. A standard front door weighs about 50 pounds. These doors weigh roughly 16,000 pounds. You're not kicking these in. You're not ramming them with a vehicle. These are the kind of doors you see on military bunkers and nuclear facilities. Inside, the bunker contains its own self-sustaining infrastructure. Independent power generation through dedicated generators, meaning the compound can operate entirely off-grid. Water storage tanks holding an estimated 95,000 liters, enough to sustain occupants for an extended period without any external water supply. Mechanical rooms house the systems that keep air filtration, power distribution, and environmental controls running independently. And then there's the escape hatch, a separate exit point designed as a last resort evacuation route. Think about what that implies. This isn't just a shelter you go into and wait. This is a shelter with a backup plan for when the shelter itself might be compromised. The construction process was wrapped in secrecy. Workers reportedly signed strict non-disclosure agreements. Information was compartmentalized, meaning individual crews often only knew about their specific section of the project, not the full scope. That level of operational security isn't something you see on a beach house renovation. That's protocol borrowed from classified government projects. So when Zuckerberg told interviewers in 2024 that the underground structure was essentially a basement used for equipment storage, you can understand why journalists weren't exactly satisfied with that answer. A basement doesn't need 8-ton blast doors. A basement doesn't need an escape hatch. A basement doesn't need water reserves that could supply a small village. But here's what most coverage misses entirely: location. Why did Zuckerberg choose Kauai for his billionaire fortress? Why not Montana? Why not a private island in the Caribbean? Why not underground in New Zealand like Peter Thiel? The answer might be the most strategic part of this entire project. First, volcanic soil. Kauai's earth is some of the most fertile on the planet. If you're building a compound designed for long-term self-sufficiency, you need to grow food. Hawaiian volcanic soil supports year-round agriculture: fruits, vegetables, livestock grazing. Koolau Ranch already operates as a working agricultural property. That's not a coincidence. That's infrastructure. Second, Pacific isolation. Kauai sits in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, roughly 2,500 miles from the nearest continental landmass. In a genuine societal collapse scenario, geographic isolation isn't a weakness, it's a moat. The island is naturally difficult to reach, naturally defensible, and far removed from the population centers where civil unrest would concentrate. Compare that to Peter Thiel's New Zealand strategy. Yes, New Zealand is remote, but it sits in the Pacific Ring of Fire, one of the most seismically active zones on Earth. Kauai, while volcanic in origin, sits on an older, more geologically stable section of the Hawaiian island chain. It experiences significantly milder seismic activity than the Big Island. Zuckerberg picked the calmer address. Third, and this one rarely gets discussed, jurisdiction. Hawaii is a US state. That means Zuckerberg maintains full American legal protections, property rights, and constitutional guarantees, while still enjoying the geographic isolation of a mid-Pacific island. Thiel had to deal with New Zealand's foreign buyer regulations. Zuckerberg? He's buying property in his own country. Now let's compare this to what we're seeing in other locations. Reports surfaced in early 2026 that Zuckerberg purchased a mansion on Miami's Indian Creek Island for approximately $170 million. That island is sometimes literally nicknamed Billionaire Bunker by local media. So now you have Zuckerberg with a fortified Hawaiian compound and a property on one of the most exclusive, security-intensive islands in Florida. This isn't a hobby, this is a network. And the broader trend across Los Angeles, across Silicon Valley, across every tech hub, is that the ultra-wealthy are quietly investing in survival infrastructure, while publicly insisting everything is fine. The bunker industry has grown into a multi-billion-dollar sector, and the biggest buyers aren't paranoid loners. They're the people building the technology that shapes your daily life. Now, none of this happened in a vacuum, because while Zuckerberg's Hawaii bunker represents peak billionaire prepping, it also sits on land with a complicated history. The acquisition of those 1,400 acres on Kauai wasn't clean. Some parcels involved land with ties going back generations in Hawaiian families. Lawsuits emerged. Local residents raised concerns about a mainland billionaire buying up massive sections of their island. The construction itself brought disruption. Noise, traffic, environmental impact on a community that values its rural character. Zuckerberg and Chan did establish some community-facing initiatives, and they operate the ranch with agricultural tenants. But the tension remains real. For many Kauai residents, the compound represents something bigger than one billionaire's property. It represents a pattern. The ultra-wealthy treating Hawaiian land as a personal resource, while native communities navigate the consequences. And then there's the transparency issue, the strict NDAs, the denial that this is anything more than a ranch with a large basement. When you spend $270 million on a compound with secret tunnels, blast doors, and escape routes, calling it a basement isn't just misleading. It's insulting to every journalist and every resident who can see what's plainly in front of them. The question isn't whether Zuckerberg has the right to build this. He does. The question is what it signals when the people with the most information, the most resources, and the most power are quietly building escape plans while telling the rest of us not to worry. That's the full breakdown of Zuckerberg's $270 million Hawaii fortress. The secret tunnels, the blast-proof bunker, the escape hatch, and everything the public was never supposed to see. If this is what one billionaire built, imagine what the others are hiding. Next week, I'm exposing Elon Musk's infrastructure. And trust me, you're going to want to see that one. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Drop a comment telling me which billionaire's secret compound you want me to investigate next. And if this video made you look at Silicon Valley differently, share it with someone who needs to see this.